Today, guys, we're going to talk about currency and not this type of currency. We're going to be talking about this type of currency, cryptocurrency. And we have two great guests here today. We have Haru and Jake, who are experts in the field. Now, before we get started today, I do need to make a disclaimer that we are not financial advisors, and this is not legal advice. This is purely for entertainment purposes and educational purposes. So what you need to do if you're interested in cryptocurrency or any type of financial asset is talk to an attorney in your area, talk to a financial advisor, and talk to your CPA. Without further ado, let's get started. Let me start by introducing Haru and Jake. Why don't you guys both tell everybody a little bit about yourself, just real quick.
Yeah, thank you so much. Glad to be here, Steve. Glad to be here, obviously, with Jake. Yeah, very excited. Cryptocurrencies are the new wave, and we're excited to be at the forefront of it. So my name's Haru. I am with a company here. We started our company, Web3 Studios, LLC, here with Steve. And so we're legitimate. We're a documented company. And, love working with the Cortes Law Firm. Have known Steve now for several years, and a great guy, and so excited to get this going. So Web3 Studios, LLC, we specialize in building the future of blockchain communities, technologies, and experiences. And my business partner, or one of them here, Jake Waldrip, he is our Director of Software Development. And let him tell a little bit about himself.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I'm glad to be here with Haru and Steve. Like Haru said, I'm Director of Software Development at Web3 Studios. And we're just happy to be here building this thing, be on this podcast.
One of the reasons we're doing it is we're getting a lot of questions from our clients, and we actually did a little poll online on social media asking people what they wanted us to do on our website or on our YouTube channel. And one of the ones that kept coming up is financial advice and what is cryptocurrency. I think a lot of people are confused because they've heard about Bitcoin, they've heard about Ethereum, if I'm saying it right, guys.
Yep.
And they've also heard about Shiba Inu, is that how you say it?
Yes.
In the news as well. On all of these kind of skyrocketed last year. But what I find interesting is when I actually talk to people, they don't make the connection between cryptocurrency and Bitcoin and Ethereum. They just literally have no idea that they are actually the same thing. So I guess the first question, Haru, what is cryptocurrency?
Yeah, great question. So cryptocurrency is essentially digital currency. It's digital cash, more or less. And so, Steve, as you mentioned, we have Bitcoin, we have Ethereum, we have Shiba Inu. There's a lot of these different cryptocurrencies and tokens that are out there now. Essentially, though, they are all digital currencies, digital cash. So they have different methods of how they work, how you get the currency, how the currency is validated across the different networks and things of that nature. And so each one is a little bit different, but Bitcoin is the first one, and Bitcoin is almost synonymous with the word crypto or blockchain. And so that's the one people think of mostly. But as you mentioned, Steve, Ethereum's one that's out there, probably number 2 under Bitcoin in terms of exposure, popularity, developer activity. And then you have some of the more fun coins, your Dogecoin, your Shiba Inu coins. And those are, you can use them for different things, but it's kind of more fun coins. So a lot of different ones out there, a lot of different things to know about them, and makes for a very exciting field.
So Jake, Bitcoin is cryptocurrency like Ethereum and those, right?
Yes, sir.
So what can you tell us about that? Why do you think people are confused?
I think people are confused because it's a new thing. It's a lot of people's number one question is what gives these coins value? Like, why would I buy this coin when I can just buy cash? And I think the speculative nature of the coins does a lot to add to confusion, the technology behind it. It's a 100% digital coin. How are these coins made? Is there anything governing the use of these coins? There's just a lot that's unregulated about them right now, and that's up in the air, and I think that causes confusion with people.
So do you guys have, do each of you have a favorite cryptocurrency that you like?
I'm a fan of SafeMoon. It's not worth very much, but my friend talks about it all the time, so it's kind of our thing. Buy some SafeMoon, send each other the links about it, send each other pictures.
And Haru?
Yes, I'm a big fan of Avalanche, or AVAX for short. It is a cryptocurrency and a blockchain that is positioned to be an alternative to Ethereum, or very similar to Ethereum. So you can run smart contracts on it, a lot of different applications, and it's eco-friendly, which is one of the big drawbacks that people mention about Ethereum now. So it's eco-friendly, it's good for the planet. They have a very fast chain. They have 3 different chains that you can validate transactions transactions on, send funds on, perform staking. So very, very fast chain, science first, science-driven first, which I'm a big fan of, makes it very stable. So AVAX is the cryptocurrency and the blockchain I'm most excited about.
So you guys talked a lot. There's a lot of technical stuff in what both of you just said. So on a very basic level, why did cryptocurrency originate?
So, cryptocurrency, it originated or was popularized by Satoshi Nakamoto, or that's the pseudonym for the individual that created it. Now, no one knows who Satoshi Nakamoto is, probably except for that individual or group of individuals. There have been some guesses about who it could be, but we're not quite sure. But they popularized it in 2008, 2009. They put a white paper out there about, a peerless cash system, a digital transaction system, and that you can move funds back and forth between. So around 2008, 2009, this became popularized, and I believe that was when the first Bitcoin, was put into circulation on the network. So they wanted a peerless cash system that they could easily move funds around and things like that, have it be secured by actual programming and code. And, the funny thing about Bitcoin is there's a limited supply, so there's only ever 21 million of them, and that leads to some of the digital scarcity and things like that.
So there's a lot. What did they actually want it for, though? Like, was there a specific reason they were using Bitcoin when they first started out?
Yeah, so Bitcoin, the initial reason was just to be a peerless peer-to-peer cash system. So essentially a digital way.
What does that mean, peerless? What to people out there, what does that mean?
Yes, great question. So it's essentially an easy way for us to send funds back and forth online. So right now, with Western Union, for instance, or kind of those money movers, people that move money around, when you're sending funds, there's large fees on that, right? And a huge thing is that people send money back home for remittances or things. So people come here from other countries, they have family back home, they're helping to support those families, and they need to send money back home. So right now, there's with this remittance network, there's a lot of fees in the traditional banking system and kind of your different money lenders. So one of the main goals of these cryptocurrencies was to enable this to be very easy to send cash back and forth to different individuals, people in your network, and not have exorbitant fees, and really make it to where you can support your family, support your community, support your friends, and have the transaction information all be public on a blockchain that's verified, and there's a ledger for it, as Jake mentioned earlier. And it's something that is very transparent, and you don't have exorbitant fees just to move money back and forth.
So, Jake, that brings up a great question, is what can it actually be used for? And I remember back when I first started to hear about Bitcoin, it was worth probably less than $1 or more, and people were actually using it to buy pizza. And you hear about the stories of people kicking themselves now because they used Bitcoin. They spent 19 Bitcoin to buy a pizza from somebody.
Yeah. I heard about that guy.
Right. And so, what nowadays, what can people actually use, whether it's Bitcoin or Ethereum, any of the cryptocurrencies, what can they do with it?
So there's actually some countries that accept it as an official currency that you can use to, pay off debts, pay off, buy things at stores, whatever. And past that, it's if someone wants to accept it as a currency, they're welcome to accept it as a currency. There's nothing stopping them. It's just essentially a form of cash at that point. And, all cash is built on people accepting that cash. So the more people who accept the cash, the more valuable the currency is as a currency.
Are there any mainline retailers out there that accept cryptocurrency for products and goods like Amazon or anybody else like that?
Not that I'm aware, but if I'm not mistaken, I believe some of these companies are developing their own cryptocurrency to accept. You can almost think of that like a gift card. If you buy a Walmart gift card, you can only use it at Walmart. And then if you buy some Walmart coin, you would only be able to use that at Walmart, though other places could, in theory, accept Walmart coin. It could have its own value. You could resell the Walmart coin easily, a lot easier than like trying to resell a gift card would be.
And I think Walmart was in the news recently, wasn't it, about possibly trying to create their own cryptocurrency?
I believe so.
What do you guys know about that, Haru?
Yes, so the Walmart one, I don't know a whole lot about that one, but to jump back to what retailers are kind of looking at this right now, we know AMC is a big one that they mentioned that they want to use accept Shiba Inu payments. Shiba Inu payments for movie ticket sales and everything like that. They want to accept Dogecoin, which is another cryptocurrency. We've seen GameStop. They're getting ready to partner with, I believe it's IMX blockchain and Loopring blockchain and tokens to power their network. So there are a lot of places looking at it now. You have your Squares, your PayPals, Cash App. They're all integrating, being able to send Bitcoin back and forth, and a lot of them already have the capability. Twitter, you can tip users in Bitcoin and Ethereum now, so it's becoming more mainstream by the day, and you're going to see the acceleration just continue to grow as more people learn about all the awesome things you can do with this technology.
So let's get into, how does somebody actually acquire Bitcoin or Ethereum, Shiba Inu, whatever that particular coin that they want to do. How do they actually acquire it? What are I guess there's probably 4 steps on the little bit of research that I've been able to find on how somebody actually gets it, they keep it, then they spend it, and I guess they can actually even keep it in a wallet of some sort. So can you kind of go through the steps of how somebody purchases, acquires, whatever you call it, cryptocurrency?
The easiest way right now, if you're in the United States at least, other countries, they have kind of their own exchanges. But if you're in the United States, there's a few popular programs and exchanges essentially for these different coins. And so, there are apps, you can download them on your phone or go to their website. But you have Coinbase is a big one. You have Gemini Exchange is another big one. But let's focus on Coinbase. That's probably the most popular one in the United States. So you sign up for a Coinbase account, just like signing up for PayPal account or anything like that, a Facebook account. They're going to ask you for just some basic information to know who you are, and there are some tax reporting requirements on these as well. So you have to be prepared for that at the end of the year, and they need to know some of that information about you because they have to prepare the tax forms and everything. So you sign up for a Coinbase account or any account with one of these exchanges, and then you can essentially fund that account. You can add money from your bank account, or you can use a credit card. There's certain limits depending on what method you're using.
So Haru, how easy is it once you use Coinbase, or I guess another one is MetaMask? How easy is it to actually fund your account with one of these apps?
Oh, very easy, very easy. There's usually an initial verification process. So when you add your bank account or you add your credit card, they're going to verify that it's a legitimate account that they can pull from. So they may send a small charge to that account, a penny or something of that nature, just to make sure you have access to the account and that it's validated. But after that, it's easy. You can put money into your Coinbase account, and from there, you have your wallet. You can transfer money out to like a MetaMask, as you mentioned, Steve, that wallet, and integrate it with a hardware wallet as well.
Okay, so Haru, once you've funded the account, so you've gone online, you've created a Coinbase or MetaMask, whatever that is, you've created an account with one of these apps, and now you've funded it either through your bank account or through a credit card or something, right? Now, how do you actually buy the cryptocurrency? How do you get that Bitcoin into Coinbase or whatever the app that you chose? How do you make that happen?
So in the app, they make it very easy. You just go into the app, you would have your money in there, and then you can search for whatever cryptocurrency it is that you want to purchase. So if it's AVAX, as I was mentioning, one of my favorite ones, you can just search for it in their app and make the purchase. Very, very easy, very straightforward, great interfaces to use.
So once you have it, okay, so you've gone through the steps, you've downloaded it onto your iPhone, your Android phone, right? And you've funded your account, and you've bought some, what did you say your favorite one was?
AVAX. Love AVAX.
So you bought your AVAX. Now what do? Do you just leave it there? Is it stored there in that app?
So yes, you can leave it in the app. They have a wallet that you can leave it in that. There's also other wallets you can transfer it to. So you could transfer it to another wallet like MetaMask, as you mentioned, Steve. That's a popular wallet out there. Or you can also have it on a hardware wallet, which we recommend. Hardware wallets are very safe, very secure. And so you can do anything with it at that point. You could leave it in the exchange or transfer it.
So let's talk about hardware wallets, because I don't think anybody out there really understands what that is. You're in the tech field, so when you say it, you know exactly what you're meaning. But so when you store it on Coinbase or MetaMask or whatever the wallet is, it's actually stored on their servers, I presume, right? And you just mentioned a hardware alternative. So when you say that, what does that mean? Is it actually something physical that I can walk around like this coffee cup with a Cortes Law Firm on it? Or is it something that that is stored in another server someplace. What do you mean by a hardware-based wallet?
When you have an exchange like Coinbase and you have your cryptocurrency in that exchange, they store that. Now, Coinbase, they'll say they store a portion of it in hardware wallets or things that are not on a server online somewhere that anyone can access, right? And really what they're storing is they're storing your private keys, right? Your keys to where your currency actually is on the blockchain. So when you have those keys out there to where other individuals, potentially malicious actors could access those, you run the risk of somebody being able to get into your funds. So with a hardware wallet, you actually store the private keys on the physical device itself. And just like you mentioned, Steve, it would be like this cup with the Cortes Law Firm on it, right? You would have your keys to your cryptocurrency on that wallet that you keep with yourself. So unless somebody actually gets that wallet and gets access to that physical wallet, it's going to be very difficult for them to access your funds as if they were just stored, on an exchange online somewhere.
So in super, super layman terms, very simple, what are the keys that you're talking about?
The keys to your crypto. Yep, the keys to access your crypto. So it's, for instance, you have keys to get into your house. So it'd be just like the keys to get into your house. We would say, well, my public address is at this address in, somewhere in Oklahoma City, for instance. To get into my private address, my private residence, I need the keys. So the keys to your cash, the keys to your crypto the private keys to that are going to be stored on your wallet, on your hardware wallet, instead of on the exchange.
Do you think cryptocurrency is safe? And I'll just tell the story about, I've recently had a couple of friends who were on MetaMask, and supposedly one of the safest wallets out there. I signed up for MetaMask myself, and I think I had to store I had to come up with, I don't know, 30 or 20 or something different pass keys in case I ever lost my wallet. And I've had two friends recently lose in the 6 and 7 figures of their cryptocurrency that they held in MetaMask. And I guess I also saw a story recently as well that maybe MetaMask had been hacked. So all that being said, MetaMask, supposedly one of the safest places to put your cryptocurrency, gets hacked or individual accounts are getting hacked. How safe is cryptocurrency? If somebody out there puts their life savings, puts $500,000, $600,000, $100,000, how safe is it to be in these crypto wallets?
Yeah, so I think crypto actually has a layer of security over maybe not physical cash, but digital cash, just like a bank would have, because the banks can also fall victim to these same hacks. Your account can get hacked, someone can steal your debit card. There's more vectors of attack there, but it also has the layer that if, let's say, Coinbase goes down, the wallet where your crypto's stored, it doesn't actually matter. They're not the ones who say that you own that cryptocurrency. Every single, they call them nodes on the blockchain, it's every single instance of this, of a wallet has the entire ledger of the cryptocurrency. So your cryptocurrency says that I own my cryptocurrency. And so everyone has a complete record of all the transactions that have occurred on the cryptocurrency and who owns what. So it's not centralized to one bank and all reliant on that. So everything can still get hacked, just like your bank account would be able to. So it's very important to keep up with security there and then be very diligent with that. But there is an added layer of security with crypto that digital, US dollar doesn't have.
So was MetaMask actually hacked, or is it more of just a 1 in a million instances where just because it's crypto, it's getting a lot more press than, say, if Bank of America or Chase or somebody else were to get hacked?
Yeah, so you have a mix of both. You definitely have a mix of both. There are those instances where the exchanges are being hacked. And that's something that does happen, just like it can happen with bank accounts and things. So you have those instances where the exchanges themselves are being hacked. You also have the instances where there's a lot of malicious actors out there and people that are doing phishing attempts and kind of more social engineering to get into people's wallets themselves, sending emails saying, hey, click on this link, you've won X amount of dollars, and they click the link and it goes to a site that has a malicious script and it essentially is able to compromise their wallet. So you're seeing a lot of those social engineering hacks. The hacks on the exchanges aren't as frequent as those, but they do still happen.
So are you telling me it's like the old kind of kind of phishing emails that we've been seeing for many, many years, almost decades now since we've had email, where it's just the click me, and if the person happened to have a Coinbase or MetaMask wallet, that's how they're getting into it. Is they're basically just they're phishing, and they're getting into people's wallets because people are not paying attention to those emails and that they might be scams. Is that what you're saying?
They work. Those phishing attempts work. I'm in the software field, as a trade, and I would say that's the number one way that accounts are compromised is people clicking something they shouldn't be clicking in an email or on a website or on an ad.
So I guess what I'm hearing you guys say is that it sounds like it's extremely much more safer than probably just regular banking, but it's still susceptible to people answering those emails. And we get calls here, at our firm from people all the time who said, yeah, we just got hacked because I got one of the old hello emails and I clicked on it, and before I knew it, everything in my bank account was gone. That happens probably every couple months, still on a regular basis. So I guess if somebody if they do it on their phone and it's still connected to their Coinbase wallet, they're going to be just in as much trouble as if they had it to a bank account on a national bank or a local bank.
Yeah, you definitely want to make sure that you're stepping up security, especially with any amount of money, significant to you. Then you need to be taking security extremely seriously.
So that brings up, we already kind of talked about it, but what are the kind of scams that you're seeing out there regarding cryptocurrency?
Right now, one of the popular scams with cryptocurrencies is like Jake mentioned, clicking those links in your email, right? Somebody sends you an email and says, hey, we're going to give you X amount of tokens in cryptocurrency, exclusive for you. Click this link, go download it or something, right? And so those are the ones you're seeing a lot of. You're also seeing a lot of, the NFTs or non-fungible tokens, or the funny JPEG pictures. You're seeing a lot of these malicious sort of actors out there. They'll create an NFT and they'll airdrop it or essentially send it to somebody's wallet address. And when that person interacts with that NFT in their wallet, it executes a malicious script. So those are kind of the biggest ones that we're seeing right now.
So I can tell you guys are really excited about cryptocurrency. Obviously, this is what you guys do. So I just have a couple more questions because I want people to be cautious of this kind of stuff. But what are the kind of the pros and the cons that you guys are seeing? Maybe Haru, you want to tackle the pros, and then Jake, maybe you tackle the cons. So Haru, what are the pros of cryptocurrency that you see right now and possibly for the future as well?
Very passionate about cryptocurrencies. Really believe it has the potential to change the world, and we're seeing that right now. One of the big pros with cryptocurrency, and as Jake's mentioned and you've mentioned as well, Steve, it's a digital ledger. It's a public ledger that's out there. You can see where these different cryptocurrency transactions are flowing to and from. So it makes things transparent, right? It helps to make things honest. That's a very big thing we're seeing now, obviously, and not just started now, but in politics in general, right? People want to see where money flows. So you're starting to see these things spring up. They're called DAOs, or decentralized autonomous organizations, and they're governed by groups that hold certain cryptocurrencies, and they make decisions for how they want the company or the community to move. And you're even starting to see that now in legal cases with initial litigation offerings, these sorts of things where people are raising money to help pay for their court cases. So that's very inspiring. I think cryptocurrency is going to enable just a freedom of commerce, a freedom of money flow and movement, and it's really going to be the digital revolution for everything. I'm going to say it right now, if you have your car title in a physical piece of paper, your house title in a physical piece of paper, your driver license, right, everything, that's going to be in an NFT on the blockchain in the very near coming future.
And we'll talk about NFTs in a little while. But Jake, what are the cons of cryptocurrency?
Right now, it's just kind of the Wild West in the cryptocurrency world, with the blockchain, kind of like the internet was in the early days, social media was in the early days. The laws and regulations haven't quite caught up with where the technology is. And even on some level, the technology hasn't quite caught up with how improved it could be.
Jake, you bring up a great point. Governments seem to be really resistant to cryptocurrency. Why do you think that is? And I think that's probably a big con right now for cryptocurrency.
Yeah. One of the big cons right now is governments. Of course, the laws and regulations haven't caught up, and they're resistant to it because right now for them, because the laws and regulations haven't come up, there's no money in it for them. until they can get their own coins on the market, until they can get, huge amounts of these cryptocurrencies, they don't have an interest in having everything go around the dollar, transactions be happening without the dollar involved, because it threatens, the value of the dollar, the value of the country's currency.
And again, this is not financial advice, but I guess one of the pros that I've keep kind of reading about over and over is that this is a long-term investment. I don't know if you guys would agree with that. And then I guess one of the cons is that along with long-term investments are a lot of short-term volatility. So can maybe Jake or Haru, can you guys speak to that on as far as investments? And again, this is not, we're not giving financial advice. This is just, you can read it in the newspaper. Cryptocurrency was going through the roof in October, November, and since then it has just tanked for the most part. So
very volatile in nature.
The market's so new, that people are, naturally there's a lot of excitement around it. So when there's a lot of excitement, you get a lot of people in the market and they want to buy, they want to buy whatever it is, so that's naturally going to drive prices up. Well, after a while, the people who sort of just got into initially for the excitement, when they see other institutional actions happening in the market, right? Same things that happen in the stock markets, other commodities and markets and things, right? There are institutional players who are doing a lot of different things with these funds, short selling, dumping massive amounts of these tokens or stocks or whatever it is. So naturally, when people see that, they see, as you mentioned, Steve, well, it was at this amount, now, I'm penniless in my accounts. So there is that volatility there. I'm a big proponent, and once again, this is not financial advice. Do your own research, make your own decisions. I'm a big proponent of value investing over the long term, buying when you think it's low, dollar cost averaging, maybe only buy $10 a week or something. Don't invest more than you're willing to lose, is the mantra. Buy a small amount each week and hold on to it for a few years, hold on to it for quite some time is what I like to do, just for me personally. And then, what the value of the cryptocurrency is at today. Maybe today it's only $1. I guarantee you 10 years from now, it's probably going to be worth more than $1. So don't sell when it's low, buy low, sell high, my personal mantra. And I like to build wealth and value for the long term. So I hold it for the long term. I believe in the future of it. And I think all transactions are going to happen in these currencies at some point. So I buy and hold because eventually I'm going to be buying everything in these currencies.
Another thing that we always hear about, and I think it confuses a lot of people out there, is crypto mining. So we've talked about cryptocurrency is the same thing as Bitcoin, Ethereum. What was your favorite again, Haru?
AVAX. We love AVAX.
Same as AVAX. So all of those are cryptocurrencies. But I think another thing that really confuses people is, what is crypto mining? Can maybe Jake, you're the technical guy, tell us about what crypto mining is. I mean, is it somebody actually digging in the dirt down in Arizona or the Mojave Desert?
Well,
I mean, what does it mean to crypto mine?
It's your computer doing it. Your computer is essentially the one. There's a few different ways to create a cryptocurrency, and that's essentially what you're touching on with crypto mining. It is taking, when Bitcoin started, there was 0 Bitcoin until people's computers started mining the Bitcoin. And that's called proof of work. That's, you're solving, it's essentially a fancy math problem. And once you've solved the problem, you now get a block of Bitcoin, which decreases over time how big these blocks are. But the very first block might have been 30 Bitcoin. And, you solve this problem, and then you tell all the other nodes that hold Bitcoin that, hey, I solved this, I have the next 30 Bitcoin. And then they use the result of that to start solving the next problem. And whoever gets that problem right has the next block of Bitcoin, so on and so forth. There's a few different methods for proving that a new block of cryptocurrency exists.
Okay, so I think what you're saying is somebody has a Bitcoin. Let's use Bitcoin as an example, right? And they go into the store, or I think, wasn't Tesla accepting Bitcoin for a while to buy their cars? So you have a Bitcoin and you want to buy a Tesla. So you take that Bitcoin or Bitcoins and you go to Tesla and you say, here's my Bitcoin. And they take it, and in order for them to validate it, there has to be a crypto miner out there someplace to make that validation. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. So there's people, they call them stakers, that are, they all own Bitcoin and they have access to the entire ledger. So whenever a transaction occurs, it goes onto the ledger, and then it goes to a series of nodes.
Okay, what do you mean by ledger? What is a ledger?
It's just a list of the transactions that have occurred from the beginning of Bitcoin.
Okay.
It's just a top-down list of here's what's happened to Bitcoin before it ended up in Tesla's hands.
That mathematical problem that you're talking about, it's going back and looking what the previous entries were in that ledger so that it can validate that
That's
Bitcoin.
exactly correct.
Gotcha. That makes a lot of sense. Next, what is an NFT? You also hear that about, okay? So we have talked about cryptocurrencies being Bitcoin, Ethereum, etc. We've talked about how crypto mining essentially works very simply. And the other thing that's been hitting the news a lot really in the last year are NFTs. So guys, and I know that's part of your new business. So in just the very simplest terms, Haru, what is an NFT?
NFT is a digital asset, right? So if I have a car in the real world, in terms of cryptocurrency and blockchain, I would own my car as an NFT. And it has, the make, the model, the color, if I have fancy rims on it or a nice sound system, all of that information is stored on the blockchain as well, where everyone can see it.
Well, that's a little confusing because you just said that you have the real car in the real world, but you also have it as an NFT.
Yep. So it's the same concept. So for instance, if I have an analogy would be, I own a car in the real world. This car has make, model, right? All of these different things, right, that make up this car. And I usually have a title or something, that says, hey, I own this car. In cryptocurrency, we have non-fungible tokens. So I may have a digital car, right? A car out there on the blockchain. And everything about the car, the make, the model, if I have anything fancy configurations on it, all that information is going to be stored in the blockchain. And I also have the ownership to that on the blockchain as well, but I have it in my wallet address. So once again, I have access to the address that stores that actual NFT, that digital asset on the blockchain.
I guess what it really is in the news over the last year is not necessarily cars, but actually art. You see a lot of artists out there right now creating art as NFTs, and people purchasing these pieces of art for $1,000, and then a couple weeks later they're worth $30,000. So, what is an art NFT? I think that would maybe be a little bit easier for people to understand.
So our NFT, imagine we had the Mona Lisa in the real world, right? We only have one of those. That's not a forgery, at least, right? So same thing for cryptocurrency in the digital world. As an NFT, you would have that one Mona Lisa. You would have that JPEG image, or now you're seeing a lot of the funny kind of cartoon animals, right? So you would have that image. That would be your NFT. It would be stored in your wallet address. And the cool thing about it, for instance, if we look at art like the Mona Lisa, we could say, well, Mona Lisa has brown hair. Well, we can store that on the NFT in the blockchain. We can also do cool things with this to allow artists and creators to get paid. Through the NFT, you can code in special programming or special rules that says essentially, anytime I sell this piece of art, send a royalty back automatically to the person who originally created the art. So it's really empowering artists to be able to make a living off their work and to be able to streamline how they get royalties and things and really build a community around it. It's very, very inspirational.
So what you're saying is if I have a piece of artwork and I want to create it as an NFT, I can create a physical piece of artwork, or I guess maybe a digital piece of artwork, into an NFT. The painting that's behind us right now, behind both of us, I actually painted that painting. So you're saying I could make that into an electronic or a digital NFT, the painting behind us?
Absolutely, yep.
And then I could sell it to somebody or give it to them. And then every time they sold it, I would get a percentage of the sale?
Yes, that's correct.
So if they sold it to somebody, I would get a percentage, and then that person sells it to somebody else, I would get a percentage. And does that just go on for infinity on that art piece?
That's correct. Yep, that would go on in infinity. And there's even really cool things you can do to where the people who are buying your art, if they are people who originally bought it, you could have smart contracts in there to where they get a kickback as well for buying your art and helping to support you. It's very awesome.
On some of those pieces, people all along the line can continue to get commissions.
Yes, absolutely. It's exciting to see, and it's enabling creators to be able to really control their artwork and make a living from it the way they want to, not having to go through big publishing houses if they don't want to, or getting into bad contractual situations, which we unfortunately hear about all the time. This allows the artists, the creators, to really be the ones to profit from their creations and build a community who can profit with them as well as they help them gain notoriety.
So Jake, earlier, Haru had mentioned having deeds to houses and titles to cars as NFTs. So you're the technical guy. What does that mean, and what does that mean for the future of NFTs and really for deeds, property deeds, which we at the firm use on a daily basis for our estate planning clients and for our probate clients. So what is the move to NFTs on those type of documents?
Yeah, so it really would be the government moving to using that system, because right now, if you look at the title, the piece of paper that has your title on it isn't really, I could steal that from you, but it's still your house. I'm not going to be able to move into your house, and the courts aren't going to agree with me. Essentially, the government has a ledger, a record of who owns that house, and it would essentially be replacing that from a centralized entity to an entire decentralized. The blockchain would now store, everyone would be able to independently verify who owns this house right here, who owns this piece of art.
So we're going back to the ledger that you talked about earlier. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, it's starting to come together. So an NFT also has a ledger, just like cryptocurrency has a ledger, and there has to be something to validate, some computer someplace, crypto miners possibly, to validate every time there's a transaction.
That's
so
correct.
if you have a title to a car or a deed to a house, instead of that ledger being down at here in Oklahoma, there's 77 different counties. So instead of having 77 different ledgers, we are talking about having a centralized ledger where everybody's ledger could be verified on the blockchain.
Yes, a decentralized ledger.
Decentralized.
It would be every single person who has a title to the car can verify that your title is your car and vice versa.
Wow. So it's not centralized at each county or even in the state. It's completely decentralized.
That's correct.
And all of these miners are out there validating the transactions. Incredible, incredible. So one of the things that your company is doing, I think, is Web 3.0. Is that correct?
Yes, that's absolutely correct.
So what is it? Let me start with first, what is Web 3.0, and is it the same thing as Metaverse?
So yes, Web3 is a name for the current evolution of web technology. So you had Web 1.0, which was essentially people creating websites with static information on them, right?
So about what year was that?
That would probably be, your 90s, kind of your earlier 90s and things like that, really before the big dot-com bubble that came around the 2000s.
So we're talking about like AOL, where you had to put the disk in your computer and,
yes,
and listen to that modem go.
Oh, the nightmares. Yes, definitely those days. That is analogous with, Web 1.0.
Okay. So what happened after Web 0.0? Where did we get to? I didn't even know that there was a Web 2.0, and now we're at 3.0. So what was Web 2.0?
Yes. So Web 2 is essentially, what we have today and what we're transitioning out of. It's where you essentially have your companies, your big companies, your Facebooks, your Amazons, your YouTubes, your Googles, centralized organizations that have your information stored in a digital cloud somewhere. Now, the benefit of this Web 2.0, it's been great, as we've seen, a lot of innovation. You have information that you can change, it updates, you can see it across the world, right? So great innovations that have been brought about by many companies, and that's where we're at currently is Web 2.0.
We're still talking about just websites, right?
Yep, still just websites and apps on your phone. Anything that's really interacting with the internet right now is primarily in Web 2.0 technologies.
So how does Web 1.0 differ from the 2.0?
1.0, it was mainly static information. So, I would have a website and I would say, for instance, I would put on the website, my name is Haru and I am such and such age, right? I would have to go back to that website and I would have to change that. It's not going to update dynamically, say, when my birthday comes around necessarily. Now with Web 2.0 and, we have all this information and data aggregators out there, you now can have different tools and different things where people can say, hey, we have your information out there. We can show it to you in this way. Yeah, you're Haru and your age is such and such, but here's some other cool things that we've been able to do with your data, or maybe some not cool things that we've been able to do with your data, right? So it allowed for a lot more dynamic information. It allowed for people to have updates to things, not so manual. You just have stuff out there and different tools out there, and then you're interacting with your community of peers too who are also on these platforms. And you have all the interactions we see today, from Facebook to Twitter to YouTube to all the good things, all the scandals, right? It's coming from that ecosystem, from these centralized companies that have just our data out there on the current cloud.
So we're in Web 2.0 right now, right?
Yes.
And then I guess they just Facebook announced the Metaverse. Is that Web 3.0? Is that what we're talking about there?
Yeah, so the metaverse, it's a trendy term right now for digital experiences in Web 3.0. So, Web 3 is essentially what we have now with the blockchain, the crypto, and everything. It's the decentralized technology, as both Jacob and Steve have mentioned. Instead of having, a centralized set of servers that are controlled by, one entity or one company, now you have a lot of different servers that have a lot of different participants and things. So it's not centralized under one entity necessarily, and it gives more power back to the community. So Metaverse is one of those things where, Facebook's smart. They're jumping on the crypto train. It's something that ultimately, if it's coming from a big company like that, the technology will be decentralized. The money may not be right now, but Metaverse, yeah, anything that's in the Web 3.0, whether it's an NFT, a picture of, an animal or something that you own, digital real estate, they've got real estate now that you can purchase in Metaverse, virtual reality, anything that's spinning that Metaverse out there, they're all components of Web 3 and building this digital world. So it's kind of old tools, right? Virtual reality's been around for a while, JPEG's been around for a while, but it's a new way of communicating it and translating it to the end users, and a new way of how it's stored and governed is what we're seeing.
So a couple of years ago, I read a book, and I think they actually made a movie out of it called Ready Player One. I don't know if you guys saw that movie. The book is fantastic. The movie, not so great. One of the things that they didn't touch in the movie, which I thought was interesting, but in the book they really hammered it down, that it actually took place in Oklahoma City.
Did it really?
Yeah, and it was they had done a lot of the how the storage containers are really popular right now, or they were a few years ago, and people were building storage container cities, and there was just kind of a collapse of society, and everybody, I guess, is that Web 3.0 that people were living in Ready Player One?
I think one day it could be. I don't think our technology is quite there to give the same physical experience.
But is that what Web 3.0 is, or is wanting to be?
Yeah, I think
Ready Player One.
I think naturally the landscape is going to go towards that. Just like you see in Wall-E, everyone strapped into their chair. I think naturally, just the way that social media has gone this far, I think just the way humans are, that's probably the path it's going down. But I think that is definitely an aspect of it.
So Metaverse is obviously, like Haru said, Facebook kind of has taken, or at least spent a lot of marketing dollars in the real world, in IRL, on their Metaverse. But they don't necessarily own the term Metaverse. Is that correct?
Yes, that's absolutely correct. I haven't looked at the trademarks.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think so, but don't quote me. Yeah, don't think they own that one. They're on the bandwagon, as you mentioned. Absolutely.
So Metaverse is really just kind of, it's the world out there. It's the Web 3.0. It's all the components of Web 3.0.
Yes.
Where one day we could be living like Ready Player One in real life, and then all of a sudden we put on a headset with gloves and different things, and all of a sudden we're in a separate world, a metaverse, if you will.
You go to your digital home, you view your digital art. You could have a whole life set up on essentially in the metaverse.
That's incredible. And so I guess you touched on it a little bit too, that people are actually buying real estate in some of these metaverses that are out there.
Yes, they absolutely are. There's a popular metaverse game out there called, the Sandbox, and there's another one called, I think Sandbox is Facebook's, but there's one called Decentraland as well. There are a couple of the more popular ones, but yes, they're going for millions of dollars. This digital land is going for millions of dollars. You see, it's cool to see. You see celebrities like Snoop Dogg. People want to buy their house next to Snoop Dogg's house in the metaverse, right? Because why wouldn't you? And that land's going for millions of dollars, in U.S. dollar currency. And in these cryptocurrencies, it's whatever that's pegged to. But it's been incredible to see it.
Yeah, some of the sales that they've done on real estate, I mean, people are paying in real IRL dollars, in the millions of dollars for essentially a digital piece of land in the metaverse. I mean, that just is incredible to me.
Yeah.
Me too. And it's really I think a testament to where this can go. The potential it has. I think we're still so early that we still haven't discovered everything that we're going to be able to do with this. And from real estate sales to who knows, we may even have house sales. I've seen house sales the other day. Someone purchased, I think it was one of the first real estate purchases that I've seen using Bitcoin. Which is incredible when you think about everything that's involved with purchasing a house and all the different offices and things, with your government. That's incredible. So it's here, it's happening, and it's going to keep happening.
So I guess my big question, and maybe for the people out there too, is how does cryptocurrency, NFTs, Web 3.0, how are all of these working together as one? And I guess it's in the metaverse, right? I mean, the people are they're using their cryptocurrency, they're converting their IRL, their in real life dollars to cryptocurrency using Coinbase. They're funding their accounts, they're creating wallets. And then they're going to these metaverses, and they're actually using that converted cryptocurrency to purchase property, I guess artwork, and essentially setting up virtual lives in these metaverses.
Yeah, absolutely. It's
So how do they all work together? I mean, did I just explain that?
You did. I think so. Yeah, you did. 100%. Cryptocurrencies are part of Web3. NFTs are part of Web3, and the metaverse is Web3. So as you mentioned, Steve, you hit the nail on the head. The metaverse really is one of the first real examples we've seen of everything coming together in a nice way, right? Because as you mentioned, you have your cryptocurrency, which is used to power transactions and interactions in the metaverse. You have your NFTs or your pictures or your movies or your music or whatever you have stored as an NFT. That's, as Jake mentioned, it's in your house in the metaverse. You have the digital land, as we've spoken about. You have that, it's in the metaverse. And all of these technologies are running on blockchain, Web3 based technology. So definitely hit the nail on the head, Steve. Everything's coming together in the metaverse. It's one of the first kind of big examples we're seeing really take off on a mass scale. And we're excited to see where it goes from here, because we know there's a lot more coming.
So you guys just started, I mean, these guys are dedicated. They've just started a whole brand new company with, I think they've got 4 partners. There's 4 of them together, and they've just started a Web 3.0 company. So real quickly, what are you guys doing, and what are your kind of goals for the next year or so?
Yes, absolutely. So we started Web3 Studios, LLC here in Oklahoma. And, our goal, our mission is to build the future of blockchain communities, technologies, and experiences using these new technologies, using these new experiences that we have out there through Metaverse land, through digital art, through digital music. So right now we're working on our flagship product, something very exciting. It's called NFT TCG, and TCG stands for Trading Card Game. And it is going to be a trading card game where the NFTs are the trading cards, and they're going to grant you access into our metaverse, our ecosystem. We're going to have some play-to-earn capabilities and some passive income capabilities through our different tokens and things like that. And that's what we're pushing towards. So we have a lot of other exciting things planned. We've got music in the works as well. We produce music and make music NFTs, and we're really wanting to build these experiences. We want to partner with other creators, with other artists out there. We want to help you all through our platform and what we're going to be doing. So very exciting time for us.
So you said trading cards. Are those are they digital trading cards? And are they baseball players? Are they soccer players? What are they? Are they Pokemons? What are we talking about here?
Great question. So yes, Pokemon would be a great analogy. Your Pokemons, your Yu-Gi-Ohs, kind of your more fantasy-based trading cards. So we have a few different characters, and we have a world we created, and we have everything. You can check it all out on our website. It's web3studiosllc.com.
And we'll put a link in the description below.
Yep, and so we have our artwork out there. Go check it out. It's really cool. The idea we have for this one is we have these different characters. So in our first release, our first mint is what we call the release. We have knights and we have mages, and they're medieval knights and mages. They're cartoon-based characters. So when you look at it, it reminds you of some of those funner playing card games, probably from earlier in the 2000s or the 90s. Your Yu-Gi-Ohs, your Pokemons, your Magic the Gatherings, and we're in that same art style, that kind of retro, kind of cool cartoon art style that's out there. And we've got a lot of different properties on these cards, just like you would have on kind of other fantasy playing cards. Everything's stored on the blockchain. It's digital. Imagine being able to play Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh or something with your friends right from your phone. And if you want to transfer your card to them or trade your cards, right? Because you trade these cards, you sell them, do it all from your phone. It's all immediate. It's on the blockchain. You don't have to send something on eBay and wait for 2 weeks to get there. And no, it's instant. It's immediate. So that's our goal. That's our vision for this, is to build a cool trading card game and community. And it's just the first aspect of this. We've got a lot more planned, but this is the current one. We're really excited about it.
So I guess, Jake, what do you think the future is? What's the future of everything that's happening right now?
In the context of Web3 or in the world?
Just all of it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's up in the air. It could really, who knows what it's going to turn into. 10 years ago, I would have never predicted that Bitcoin would be, worth $60,000 a Bitcoin when someone just used 20 of them to buy a pizza.
That's a lot of pizza nowadays.
That would buy you the entire pizza chain
right
nowadays.
Probably a couple of the pizza chains.
I think it's impossible to tell where it's going to go, but I think now's the time to get in on it and then see, try to get a little piece and see where the technology leads. I think with the benefit of it being decentralized is also the progress is decentralized. It gets progressed from every individual who's involved in it, not just these big companies, the Amazons, the Facebooks, saying where the progress goes. It's everybody says where the progress goes.
And we'll put links down to Coinbase and MetaMask and to these guys' website, Web 3.0 Studios. But what if somebody's interested in all of this? Just real quickly, both of you. We'll start with Haru and then and Jake. Where should they go? What's the first step that they should do if they're interested in getting involved in any of this, the Web 3.0, NFTs, cryptocurrency?
Absolutely. I'm going to direct folks to Google and to YouTube. They're your best source of information. And just search for, what is an NFT, what is a cryptocurrency, what is blockchain. And, if you like to watch videos, I'm the same way. Go to YouTube. There's a lot of great resources out there from the actual foundations that created these technologies as well. Try to find information from the actual labs and the actual organizations that created these technologies. That's where you'll get your most valuable information, or colleges, universities, those sorts of publications or channels. But yeah, go to Google, go to YouTube. It's all out there.
I guess what you're saying is educate yourself before you do anything.
Yes, DYOR. Do your own research.
Don't just go put $1,000 into a crypto because your buddy told you over lunch that this is a great next best thing.
100%.
All right. So Jake, what do you kind of think? How should people get involved? What's their best thing?
Yeah. I think just like Haru said, the first thing is you want to make sure you understand what exactly you're getting involved with. You don't want to make, especially with your money, any hasty decisions on something that, might be sketchy. I think, it's still so early. The laws haven't caught up. There is a chance. We touched on scams and possible stuff with security earlier. I think it's really important to make sure what you're doing is safe, and then exactly what you're buying, and then what the future of that could possibly look like.
Guys, thanks for being here today. This is really great.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. Love to be here. Always love to be here with you.
Oh, I appreciate that. And this is, like I said, we did it because we've been getting a lot of questions from people on what is cryptocurrency, what are NFTs. So this is just a start. If you guys enjoyed it, give it a like, subscribe to our channel, and let us know in the comments. I'd be happy to have these guys back if there's a specific issue on NFTs or cryptocurrency that you want us to discuss. We just wanted to do this first video and kind of just talk about all the exciting things that are happening out there with all these kind of this new crypto wave that's kind of evolving in our new world, and it's how it's able to help artists, people, and possibly how we may be completely having our titles to houses and our cars and everything else in digital currency of some sort in the future. So thanks for watching, and guys, thanks again. Appreciate it.
Hey, thanks. Happy to be here.
I know I've thrown a lot at you today, so that's why we've prepared our free guide on estate planning. I'll put a link to it in the description below and in the comment section below that so that you can download it and get started in the right direction. And to help you out even more, watch this video up here and this video up here. If you enjoyed this video, then guys, please smash that subscribe button and click on the like button. And also click on that little bell so you'll get notified every time we post a new video. Have a great day and an awesome week. And as always, thanks for watching.